Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another weekend. The third weekend of January, I suppose. And we're happy to have you here tonight. We've got our guest, Wonmin of Pegasus Games. Wonmin of Pegasus Games with us tonight. Thanks for joining us, Wonmin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Thanks for the sound check. Um, got that one figured out tonight, but I want to let our audience know again what our Just Getting Started January series is all about. Having creators join us to talk about their games and learn more about the game development process. So tonight we're going to have Oneman here discuss his latest project. Welcome to Sysifus Corp, which is a board game. We'll be playing it a little bit later on Tabletop Simulator for everyone to see. But we just want to let the community know what kind of games are popping up and how to help support creators and maybe learn something along the way, whether you just want to learn about how games are made or maybe you're interested in a game developer yourself. We've got Oneman here tonight to tell you what creating a board game looks like and maybe even what it was like to work in Tabletop Simulator. Uh, but
Yep.
first, but first, let's get to know our guest, Onemin. So, thanks for joining us, Onemin. Why don't you let everyone know a little bit about your background and how you came to create Pegasus Games?
I'm 29 years old. I'm based in New York City. Um, so right now I'm making a board game called Welcome to Sysifus Corp. The theme is it's a cutthroat corporate type of board game, and the mission or the objective of the game is to be the first one in your cohort of new employees at this corporation to be promoted. So there's a lot of backstabbing, a lot of betraying, kind of like Mario Kart. You know
Hmm.
how when like a person throws like a blue shell
Mm-hmm.
and it screws over the person in the front, kind of like that kind of gameplay, but with using cards, and you can like lay down the track
Mm.
and build the racetrack as you go. Um, and I started this game, I want to say close to 3 years ago now. It's maybe like 2.5 years. But I've only recently, in the past year, have been sort of seriously working on it. Um, yeah, and it's been a crazy journey the whole way. You know, I've never made a board game before. The only kind of games I've ever made were like little flash games, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
or like web games, like web app games, stuff like little dinky games that you could code in like a weekend type of thing. So
Yeah.
this is my first ever like big project, you know, hoping to get funded soon. And yeah, that's the quick story about the game. Do you want to know anything else specific or?
Absolutely no. And first, I want to let everyone know if you want to support Oneman and his project, be sure to check out their Kickstarter. If you follow us on Twitter, we've just retweeted their Twitter account, so they're active on socials. We also have the link on the powerupsouthbend.com activities, and we're also working on some website updates that I can't wait to announce. But I'll wait to announce them
Nice.
until we're done. But head to the website in the panels below and go to the activities section where you can find all of our Kickstarter projects that we're interviewing. And we'll continue to have links to their websites as we get this content on YouTube. Um, so one thing I'm curious to know is, Onemin, what got you passionate about games? Like, why do you enjoy games, and maybe what's your favorite game?
Yeah, my first ever game was probably Doom a long time ago on the PC. Maybe my dad showed it to me, you know. And I guess, you know, ever since I could remember, I've always, you know, played video games either, you know, on a console or PC. Just always been a big fan of games. It's a great way to relax and release some stress at the end of a day. And my first memory of sort of dabbling with making a game was Warcraft 3.
Mm-hmm.
They had like a pretty good custom map editor, right? And so I remember I would, you know, once I finished the game and I never really got into like the actual like competitiveness of it. Just I really enjoyed the custom maps. I'm sure a lot of other people
Mm-hmm.
felt the same. So I would try to make these cool custom maps that I've seen other people make. And I wanted to make my own cool one and just dabbled around in the map editor. And that's just kind of how I started like the idea or planted the seed of making a game.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, that was maybe when I was like high school or maybe middle school even. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, and so that's when the seed was planted, and I've never thought it could, turn into like a career or like a actual goal, like a goal that I could strive towards. But more recently, it's been pretty real.
That's awesome. No, I'm glad you are, kind of seeing that through and sticking it out. I'm loving the idea of the game. Um, how long did you say you've been working on the project approximately then?
So this project, I first came up with the idea, I think around May 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming up on 3 years this May. And the idea came from out of college. I used to work for a very large corporation, like an IT corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Just another gear in the cog,
Mm.
just, putting in my hours, working for the man,
Yeah.
participating in the rat race, trying to climb the corporate ladder, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, it really wasn't for me. I spent almost, I want to say, I don't remember exactly, maybe 3 years working. And, at a point, I just got really tired of it and just got really tired of the culture, tired of having to always, watch what I say and like, um, make sure I'm not, offending the wrong person, make sure
Mm.
I'm kissing up to the right person, stuff like that. And a lot of that impacted or influenced my design when I made my game right now, the board game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the story of how I went from college kid who didn't know anything to a corporate cog. And there was some stuff in between me leaving the company and me making the board game. But that's not really relevant to the board game.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it shook out.
Totally fair. Everyone has a journey, right? And
Yeah.
every step leads us in a new direction. So I'm excited that you've kind of found your own footing, and I'm definitely wishing you the best in pursuing this project. Having this tabletop simulator up in front of me, the design looks beautiful, and I can't wait to show it.
Thank you.
But before we get into talking about the game, one more question. So did you, I was just curious about your team and like maybe the process of developing this game. You've worked on this game yourself, correct? Or have you had people
Right.
kind of assisting you along the way?
Right. Right. So in the beginning, it was a one-man team. And I had this good friend, designer slash illustrator who I went to college with, who I've always wanted to work on a project with, but never really had anything or had the time. So when I first started designing and playtesting my game, my first thought was, why don't I reach out and try to work together with her? Her name is
Mm-hmm.
Grace.
Mm-hmm.
So we did work together for a couple of months, but at the end we kind of had some differences in like creativity and the way she wanted to take the game, the way I wanted to take the game. There was some clashing going on. So eventually we just parted ways, amicably. She's a great person. I still want to work with her, one
Mm-hmm.
day on something, but it's just this project wasn't working out for the two of us. So at that time she left. And from then on, till now, it's been kind of a one-man show. I've done everything from the gameplay, the actual, the design, the graphic design, the rule books, the marketing, the websites, social media, everything.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I didn't do were the illustrations on the cards, and that I hired an illustrator off of Fiverr to do that for me.
We are definitely getting a lot of Fiverr recommendations. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, I've used Fiverr, and a couple of our other developers have used Fiverr. So Big shout out to Fiverr. They are not sponsoring this stream, but maybe. No, just kidding.
If they want to.
Right. If they want to pitch into one of these beautiful games, that's another note. Is I wanted to let you know and all of our viewers know that we will be making a $10 contribution to your game when it does go live, and
Nice,
I
thank
will
you.
absolutely, and we will be adding if there are any subscriptions tonight during the stream, we'll add $1 for each of those subscriptions to the board game because we want this to be about building up the community and being in this journey together, because it takes a community to make these games exciting and make them work out right. Because just like you're
Nice.
kind of saying, the creative mode in when you were talking about Warcraft, I was thinking Halo Forge,
Nice.
and all the maps. I like to try and create maps, but I didn't have quite the time or maybe even the creativity of some of the people who created, like the obstacle maps, for instance. Those obstacle maps were so much fun, I thought, and I wanted to create my own, but it was just always interesting to see the level of creativity and dedication people put into that kind of stuff, and I definitely want to see people enjoy that kind of creativity, and also maybe even hopefully a little bit of a reward for the people who put in all that time and effort. Um,
Yep.
so without further ado, why don't we switch here and let's take a look at the game itself. Um, so on the screen now, you'll see our chat will see the Welcome to Sysifus Corp board game, and Wonmin and my cursors kind of roaming around the map. So one note I wanted to make is that this is obviously a perfect way to wrap up the week. We're all tired of cutthroat politics, so let's take over this board and control the office. Right? I think that's a great way to wrap up the
Yep.
week. But so we see. Why don't you walk us through kind of the setup? What are the pieces?
Yep.
What are the scoring pieces and everything?
Yep. So this version on Tabletop Simulator, I made about a week ago. Not just for this show, but also for another show I did, and for a conference I attended over the weekend. So it's a little. I mean, it looks nice, but nothing beats. I think the whole point of a board game is to have the whole tactileness of it and just touch it and feel the pieces. But with that said, let me go into the explanation. So this is the game setup, all ready to play. Here are your 4 employees. These are the employees that you control to move around the map. And this is the office board that you see. This big thing here. It's a 5x5 grid made up of squares, and there are 3 bosses in each of their respective corner offices. We have the blue boss here, green boss here, red boss here. So the goal of the game is everyone starts at new hire at the new hire orientation. This card right here.
Hmm.
If you hover over the card and press Alt, it'll make the card much bigger. Yeah, just press and hold Alt. Does it work?
Yep, on new
Yep.
hire orientation, right?
Cool. Yep. So everyone starts there, and they use these cards here, the email cards or project cards. So let me just draw one and flip it to show. So here's an example of a project card. So what you can see here is that there are 3 distinct sticky notes on the bottom of the card. And those sticky notes denote which direction and which direction you can go and come into the card. So for example, since this card is oriented this way, it's connected to the new hire orientation at the diagonal. Let's draw another card, place it here. So now, let's say I was the red employee. Now I can move from this card over to this card because they're connected. And similarly here, these diagonals are connected. So now my red employee can move over here. Well, let's say we had another card that was something like this. Over here, there's only one sticky note, and there's no corresponding sticky note on the other side. So this red employee cannot move into this card. So you can kind of see how players will use these cards to sort of build and build a sort of bridge across the office and to just sort of figure out what's the best way, how can I get to these bosses and suck up to them. The objective of the game, like I said, is you go to the three different bosses. It doesn't matter which order you visit them, and then you make it back in time for the performance review. So it's the same
Mm-hmm.
tile that you started on. So it's a race. Four players start at the same location and they make a loop and they come back. And that's just the basics of it. And I think what the bread and butter of what makes the game interesting and much more cutthroat than just it lets on are these office politics cards. So here's a deck of them here. Just gonna draw a couple of them here. We can I'll explain. Maybe it's easier to go over starting with the card on the right. So this card on the right is called Spread a Rumor. You play it, and it lets you rotate a card that is one tile away in any orientation. So let's say the red employee, started here at the new hire orientation. They moved here, then they moved here. Now they have basically the bridge to where they're currently at is still available for the other employees to take. So what they want to do is to make sure that they burn the bridges behind them, as they go, so that no one can follow their path, and that they'll be the ones ahead in this race. So they would play this card, spread a rumor, and that lets them, rotate this card. So let's say they wanted to rotate it like this. Now, the path that they just took is blocked off, and the other employees cannot follow them. Does that make sense?
Sure, absolutely. So, one question I have is, so when you place the cards, that's a move. So, like every turn, a player draws one of the project cards, and that player places it, and then they get to move in that same turn. Or is there like an action phase or?
Yep. So the phases and actions are kept track using this sheet here. If you press Z, you can zoom in on it, and you can read kind of what each action does. Did you press Z to zoom in? Just press once and it'll zoom into where your cursor is.
There we go.
Or use your mouse wheel. Yep. To zoom in close. So these are the right here on top is company influence. So that's basically your money or your resource in the game that you use to pay for the cards that I mentioned before. So when you work on a project, you gain company influence. So you can just use this token to keep track of how much you have. Let's say you have 4. You use 1 to pay for a card. You work on another project, you gain it back, etc., etc. And down here, these 3 black tokens, these are your actions per turn. So they're called work hour tokens. So you can place them on any of these 4 locations to let you do one of 4 actions. So if you place it here on the red section, that lets you place a project card down. If you place it here on the blue section, that lets you move once. If you place it here on the memo section, that lets you place one of these yellow tokens to bridge 2 different projects that don't already have a sticky note. And the final one here is the green one, is the research. This one is currently undergoing some changes. So what's written down isn't what is probably going to use for the final version. So yeah, if you zoom back out, that's basically what you can do in a turn. Yeah, and that's how the game goes. Generally, I find it that it's very kind of like Mario Kart-esque, except when you throw a blue shell, or there's not much choice in who you're targeting when you're playing Mario Kart. You throw a blue shell, it goes to the front. You throw a red shell, it only hits the guy in front of you, stuff like that. But this game, since you're building the track out um, all the time, and it's a very very changing game. You know, like just what you do in your turn might be completely different the next turn around. The entire landscape of the office is could be completely changed by the time your turn rolls around. And I found that in my playtests that players would usually sort of gang up on the person ahead. So let's say red is like really far ahead and the other players are just kind of lagging behind. What they would do is, pull together their company influence, pull together their cars, to try to screw with red as much as possible. So, a lot of games, it comes down to the wire. Usually everyone is, one or two cards away from each other. It depends, there's some luck involved, obviously, with what type of cards you draw. But I find it that, usually if you play a good game, if you use good strategies and to make sure, really follow through with the heart of the game, which is, being as cutthroat as possible in this corporate environment, generally wins you the game.
That's so cool. Um, so yeah, I think I understand the basics of the game now. Is it 2 to 4 player then, or
Yes. So
okay?
it's between the minimum is two, maximum is four. Generally, I found the sweet spot to be around 3 players. That way, you can, play around with what's going on the board. If it's just 2 players, it's more like a game of chess. What you do directly impacts them, and then they in turn directly impact you. Versus a 4-player game might be a little bit more chaotic. Cards just kind of like flying all over the place. Cards are being
Hmm.
laid down, thrown down. Abilities are being thrown around, every turn.
Sure. Awesome. So why don't can we reset the board then, and maybe we go
Yeah,
through like a few rounds of gameplay. Now that we
sure.
understand the rules a little.
Let me load the game again. Cool. So I think you have to change your color to one of the 4 main colors. That's not, yep,
Oh,
perfect.
okay.
Got it.
Bear with me, chat. This is my first time doing tabletop simulator, so
I'm just going to deal 2 cards to you, 2 to me, and here's 3 to you, 3 to me. Oops. So there's going to be a little bit of analysis paralysis for you, I bet, because it's your first time playing the game, and
sure.
a lot of the game is based on what you can do with the cards in your hand, and you kind of have to read what they do. But we'll just play a few rounds and see how it goes. Don't forget to use the Alt key that I mentioned to make the cards bigger, so that it'll be much easier for you to read.
Sure.
So I'm gonna move the
We're not
red
just getting
employee
a
away.
game development tutorial tonight. We're getting a tabletop simulator tutorial.
Why not both?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to use one of my black tokens to place a project card, like so. Then I'm going to use another work hour black token to move onto that square that I just placed. And now I'm going to use, let's see. Okay, I'm going to use that spread a rumor card that I explained,
Oh,
a few
okay.
minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And each card has what's called an add-on ability on the bottom. So depending on what you pay, or depending on how you pay or how much you pay, the ability that it has can be altered. So it's like, I don't know, maybe like other card games like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh might have
Mm-hmm.
such a thing where you can choose the type of effect that you want to activate. So for this specific card, normally it lets me rotate cards that are, 1 tile away from me. But if I were to choose to spend another office politics card with it, now it lets me rotate the card that I am on instead. So when I moved onto this project card, I gained one company influence. And that gives me enough company influence to pay to activate this card.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to spend that influence and this additional card for the add-on ability. And that now lets me rotate the card I'm on, effectively blocking or preventing you from using this card because now the path is blocked for you. And then for my final black token, I will place another card like so.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so then that concludes your turn, correct? Now, for
Yep.
the
So
sorry, go ahead.
yep. Sorry to interrupt,
No,
but
you're good.
so the cards that I played get discarded here, and you draw back to 2 project cards if you have less than 2, and you draw back to 3 office politics cards if you have less than 3. So the game sort of encourages you to constantly be using the cards in your hand to cycle through and to get better cards, see what else is in the deck, um, and then to just have more options basically.
That's awesome. So the question I had then, so the you gained one influence point because the site design had the blue one sticky note up in it, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
and that's the company influence you gain by placing it.
Yep. So every project card, the email cards have a colored sticky note on the top left that determines how much resource or how much money company influence you receive when you work on that project. And the text on these email cards, the project cards, they're flavor text, so they don't have anything to do with the gameplay. They're just little funny office quips that I've thought up that may or may not be influenced by actual real life experiences.
That's awesome. Alrighty, so let's see if I get this right now. So I have my cards in my hand,
Mm-hmm.
and then I use the work hour tokens to decide what I want to do. So the first thing I want to do is probably place a card.
Correct.
Maybe I want to analyze my hand first, but I'm going to be ambitious and place this card.
Nice. Nice.
And then I have to
Yeah.
move on to it to get the influence point, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so step 2 is take my green employee, move them to the best practices, that we can leverage best practices to achieve the correct methodology, and then I'm gonna read my office politics. Bear with me, chat. I'm trying to. I suppose this is a for fun game. So the cards I have in my hand, for your knowledge, I have suck up to seniors, reschedule the meeting, and stand in for someone.
So the stand-in for someone, the yellow card, what's written on it is outdated. So that card is just now worth 2 cards when you pay for another card.
Okay, that kind of makes a little bit of sense with what's written on it as well.
Yeah, it used to be just 1, but now it's 2.
So I could technically place another. So I could use my third work hour to place my other project, right?
That's correct.
So in this way, I could sabotage you and say, how do I rotate?
You press Q or E.
Okay. And you're blue, so I want you to go. Actually, I could do this and be a real meanie. Right?
Yep, so that would block me from going left, but
but you
it
can still
wouldn't
go
block me
diagonal.
from going the diagonal way. But it could work. Don't know where I'm going yet.
Could I technically place it over here then?
You can only place it next to you.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
Well,
in any of the
adjacent,
tile, what's that?
adjacent, like in the.
Yeah,
So,
adjacent or diagonal
yep,
works.
perfect. Awesome. So then for me, I draw two more project cards, correct?
Yes, correct. And if you want to, yep, flip it with F. Got it. All right.
Awesome. So now my
So
work hours are
one
done.
thing,
So,
I
oh,
think you forgot to collect your company influence.
oh, so I still have that for next
Just
turn?
yep. So it just stays with you until you use it. The office politics cards in your hand, there's no limit to how many you can use in a turn. You can, chain as many of them as you can. It's up to you, really.
Okay.
So now for my turn, let me think, what am I gonna do? Okay, so first I'm going to spend a black token to move onto this blue card. That gains me one company influence. Then let me check what cards I have in my hand. Yep, this could work. I'm going to place another card here, like so. And as my final action, I'll move onto that card. So I'm pretty close to the blue boss now. Um, but I also don't necessarily want you to follow me. Uh,
Oh, I don't know if I lost you there. Oh, no, I hear you now.
Hello?
Yeah, I got you again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you again.
Okay. Yep. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Let's see. So I'm going to play this card. Here we go. Yeah. Let's just do it for funsies. So this card is called Restructure Priorities. It lets me shift a project tile that is one tile away into an empty tile. So I'm going to use it to shift this card. Let's go here for no reason. No real reason. And that costs me one influence.
So that brings up another interesting point from my perspective is that the office politics, all office politics, they don't cost you the work hour tokens or company influence.
Yes.
Oh, they do cost company
Yes,
influence.
that's correct.
They don't cost work hours though.
Yep, just influence.
Gotcha.
So I guess the design decision there is that I want most of the fun or the meat of the gameplay to be coming from the office politics. So similar to like in an actual corporation, it's not necessarily how much work you actually do or how much, how productive you are in a day. All that matters is how well are you utilizing office politics to further your career. Are you kissing up? Are you brow nosing the correct person? Are you putting down the right person? Are you utilizing these underhanded tactics correctly? And if so, you are ahead. You will be getting ahead and winning the game.
That's great. And as you said that, it kind of clicked in my mind that they're very, like you made the Mario Kart comparison, they are your items to use. Just like you collect the items in Mario Kart and can use them with a little bit difference, but so that makes a lot of sense how that works.
Right. In Mario Kart, you don't want to hold on to, let's say Bullet Bill for, forever to the game ends. You want to be using them fast and fast so you can get a next item and the next item.
Absolutely. And I also find it funny, within the theme of the game, kind of relating to obviously a personal topic for a lot of people. Obviously, workplace politics are important, and so there is the fun to be had behind it, right? Like it's somewhat of a joke, and we won't go into anyone's personal story with office politics, but there's a little bit of fun in it. But I do remember having a conversation about office politics at a workplace. So we joke about it, but it's definitely at least something. It's worth having a joke about. It's worth talking about, and that's what I think games do a really great job of is creating a space for interesting conversations. About workplace politics. Like, is it a bad thing to brown nose the boss? Nope. It's just a reality of the game that we play. In this case.
Exactly. I've had many play tests where, people who first see the game are kind of turned off by the theme. They're kind of like, oh, this hits way too close to home, man. Like, I just finished work and I don't want to have to look at another work-themed game. I just want to, turn my brain off and open up another, fantasy game with orcs and trolls and such. But, after a few rounds in, I found that some playtesters would, sort of lament or just rant about their own corporate lives or their own jobs or their own careers, and other people that they're playing with would, sympathize with that. Everyone would chime in on their crazy work stories, and conversations would just flow naturally. And that, as a game designer, is probably one of the most, heartwarming things that you could possibly experience.
Absolutely, and I love to hear that. So maybe not a game for icebreakers with your coworkers. Maybe not a team bonding activity, but a great game, interesting game, great game for fun. Icebreakers at maybe a convention, getting to know people who share stuff. And that's something I definitely hope to do when we're able to bring Power Up back as a real convention, is have games like this where people can explore and experience a different perspective and a different reality. So without further ado, let me see what cards I have here. I gotta move my work hour tokens back from last turn. I'm not cheating, chat. I promise. Okay. Suspected spam. Last week's conversation. Okay. So I might be able to catch up to you if I do a place. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. All right, chat. Which project do we want to have a conversation, or do we want to open up the spam? We're open up the spam, and we're gonna get a nice little rotation going here. Place it, and and then move.
Nice.
Move again. So I'm right behind you, although I'm quite further, quite a lot. What are the words I'm looking for? Quite a distance more than from my boss than you are from your boss. That's it. I have two notes on that. One, I think it's really funny that today I was having a conversation about privileges in the workplace, or just as the conversation was actually specifically about the privilege of being a business owner. But or whether it was a privilege or not. Well, I digress from that one. But privilege in the workplace, as a game mechanic, maybe not talking about privilege at large at the moment, but talking in this game, can you describe your thinking behind, putting, well, I guess they technically are all the same distance, right? All the bosses?
So I think you maybe misassumed something. Because I'm blue doesn't mean I have to go to the blue boss. I have to go to I have to go to all three of the bosses, regardless. So you don't have to go to the green boss. I mean, you have to go to the green boss, but you also have to go to the blue boss and the red boss. So all three bosses must be, you have to suck up to all of them, and then make it back to your performance review. Otherwise, you won't get the promotion.
Yeah, so I did miss that, and that's a great clarification. And I also just counted the tiles, and each of the bosses are, with it being a 5x5 square, each of the bosses are just 3 tiles away from, 4 moves away from any given corner. So it kind of looks like you're behind, but honestly, with the types of abilities that we have in here, some of them are pretty crazy. So everything could change, just in one turn. Oh, and I forgot to give myself I get 2 points then, correct?
That's correct. That is correct.
So not 3. Awesome. Great to clarify those rules. Anytime you're playing a board game for the first time, you're going to have some clarification on the rules. I know,
of course.
I know for me personally, it's always that first playthrough, like, oh, let's do a playthrough, talk through the rules. Like, obviously you want to know the rules a little bit ahead of time, but you're not going to nail it the first time, so.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So I think I'm done with my move. I'll put my work hour tokens back.
Cool. Awesome. Let me, I forgot to draw up from last turn. All right. So let me. All right. Let me do this. I will play this card here called Reschedule the Meeting. And I will pay. Oh, wait. Actually, strike that. I don't have any company influence. I cannot do that. Okay. In that case, I will place this card here. Okay. Then I will use another action, black cube, to move. Oh, not the whole card. To move my guy on there, gaining me 3 company. So 1, 2, 3. Got it. Now I can have some influence to do stuff. Okay, now I will play the Reschedule the Meeting card, which lets me replace a card that is 1 tile away with a card in my hand. So I'm going to be replacing this orange card that I just came out of with this blue card in my hand, like so. Now, I will move once more onto that blue card, giving me one more influence, and I believe that's the end of my turn.
So you can do a project that's on the board multiple times then.
Yeah, so you can move back and forth if you're trying to gain more company influence. You can ignore one if you don't need it, or move it away if it's in the way.
Interesting.
Very, very flexible.
Alrighty, so that's the end of your turn there. I also liked I like the quips on the filler on the cards. Feedback. I'm not sure if you're flex furnitures. I'm not sure if what you're bringing to the table is in line with what we tabled last time. Very funny. So I want to hang out with you. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out the buttons here real quick and then place this card. So that's a work hour. And then I'm going to move. I'm burning extra influence here, but that's all right. And then I'm going to move again. So I'm going to hang out with you.
Nice.
And then
Caught up.
Let's see. Next move ignores. Okay, so suck up to seniors. I don't think I want to do that yet. Reschedule the meeting. Replace. Okay, so I do want to do this one. So, put this down again. Okay. I could then use this one. Correct. The stand-in for someone.
Correct.
And then replace the tile we're on.
Yes.
So what would I do with this card then?
So that card goes in your hand, and you just replace it with whatever you want in your hand.
Okay, but we stay on that card.
Yes, we do.
Over here for you to put away.
You can take it. It goes into your hand.
Oh, right, it goes in my hand. Thank you. Sorry. And then I'm a saboteur, so I'm gonna put us there.
You ruined both of us.
Oh, I didn't know you could stack them. I apologize for toppling you. All right, so these are the 2 cards, right? Nope.
Yep.
There we go. And those are all my moves. So I grab one of these and 2 of these.
Another tabletop simulator tip: if you hover over a deck and you press a number, it draws that many cards.
Oh,
So
interesting.
just be sure and don't. Let's say if I'm drawing 2 cards, don't press 2 twice because you'll draw 22.
Oh
So,
my goodness
yeah.
gracious.
There might be a little lag, so just press once and just wait.
Gotcha.
Cool. Now it's my turn, and I have to undo this mess you put us both in. I mean, it's good though. It's very good. That was a good turn. Especially if you couldn't get ahead of me, then why not just prevent me from going ahead? Let's see. What do I do now? Yes, I have to do this. Yeah. So I will do the same thing you did and just replace that card back. Costs me 1 influence and 1 extra card. Put that card in my hand.
Oh, mine cost me 1 influence too, right? And then the card.
Yeah.
So I had to...
Okay, so that fixes that. Whoops. Okay. Now I will first put back my black tokens. I will move onto the blue boss. Then I will place this card like this. And then move on to it. Nice. That ends my turn.
Now question, you landed on the blue boss. Did you take a blue certificate of achievement?
So these certificates are optional. We can play with them or we cannot play with them. I just chose not to because it would maybe complicate the game a little bit more, but they're just basically like one-time use special items.
Okay.
Do you want to play with?
Why not? Yeah, let's throw them in.
Yeah.
Just to see
Sure.
what the full game
Let's see what
experience
this
is
one does. Yeah. So this one gives me 1 extra red token, which lets me, use it whenever I want to get one. Yeah, to get a special token just for placing, just once.
Now, once we get to the performance review phase, how are we scored? Is it just the first person to the performance review wins?
Yep, it's just a race. Whoever gets there first wins.
And is there a way of tracking which boss you've been to? So, like, if I wasn't just following your footsteps,
normally the certificates can be used to track. So if you have all 3 certificates of 3 different colors, then you've been there. Or, you just kind of have to remember where you've been.
Okay. You could probably just mark it on paper. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think that ends my turn.
Sweet. Alrighty, we'll zoom in here a little bit. Getting familiar with tabletop stuff. Okay, so I want to visit the blue boss. So my first thing is I'm going to move, and then I'm going to evaluate. I want to try and catch up. And then I want to look at my office politics.
You can grab a certificate if you want.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Specifically for research. So research is the thing that you are currently making some changes to, correct?
Yeah, so right now research, what it does is you draw 3 cards and you put back 2, or you discard any amount of cards and you draw the same amount plus 1. That's what research does. And it costs 1 black token to do that.
Right. Okay.
Or in your case, you got a free research.
Sweet. Alrighty, and I also have 2 moves.
Yeah.
Let's see, steal.
So you could potentially get ahead of me here.
Oh, so I could also have some fun with this. And I could play Blink. Steal the credit. Swap locations with an employee that is 1 tile away. Do not gain the influence. So it costs me 2 of these. And then I put you where I am. I put me where you are. And that's that.
It also costs 2 cards.
Oh, I
2
see it. 2
office
cards.
politics.
Yep. 2 office politics cards. So I have to toss these.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yep.
Maybe.
I can fix that. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't. I have to
There
rotate
you go.
it. Yeah, there it goes. Cool.
Awesome. So I still technically have
Yeah.
these things. So I can then place... You know, this is a little unfortunate here because it looks like I'm going to... No, I don't want to move the whole thing. Just me. There. Okay, and that's my turn. So now I draw a project card. Now, when you run out of project cards, you just reshuffle them, correct? Or I guess the board would just fill up.
Yeah, the board would have already filled up at that point.
Yeah.
But for office politics, if you run out, yeah, you just shuffle.
Okay, perfect. So that marks my turn, so I'll put my work hour tokens back.
Cool. That was a good turn. Not only did you put me back, but you also, took the lead.
Absolutely. I guess I'm quick to pick up on these politics.
Yeah, very, very quick. Let's see, what do I want to do? I don't have great cards. But I will first play this one called Call in a Favor. Lets me select an unoccupied tile that is one tile away and either put it into my hand or send it to the bottom of the deck. So I'm going to be targeting this one, which is unoccupied. First I have to pay 1, so I pay 1 influence, and I'll pick this card up, put it into my hand. Great. Then I'll be using this blue token, the certificate, to place for free. Place that card back, but like this. Then I will move once here. Then I will place here. Okay, and now I will play this card. Oh wait, don't have the influence on it. Right? It's like I'm just moving here.
Well, thank you for setting the path before me.
Yep, that's my turn.
That's kind of like in Mario Kart, since we're sticking with the Mario Kart references. That's like throwing a banana and slipping on it yourself.
Yep.
Let me briefly... take care of some housekeeping here. There we go. Okay. Had to do some moderation. Let's take a look at what we have in hand. We've got the finalized presentation and scheduling questions. So I only have 2 influence, so it might behoove me to get some more influence. So let's go ahead and place, which costs me 1. I may be doing this in the incorrect order.
No, you're good so far.
Oh, I may have made a mistake here. Interesting. I was going to move, but I can't. Oh, wait. Okay, so use one of the sticky notes. Hold on. Do I have to use the
black token? Yes.
Okay. So I haven't moved yet. Everyone saw that. So that, and then this. Is this only temporary? The sticky note token?
So it's permanent until
Your turn?
either of the two cards underneath it are altered in any way.
Okay. So that means you can take this as well. And so now
Yes.
I'll move. Here. All right. Well, I return the favor because I'm a polite colleague.
Nice. Thank you. So you stabbed me in the back at the very last minute. Let's see now. Okay.
Trying
Well,
to
let's
maintain the office relationships.
take that nice path you just built for everyone. Gain 2 influence.
Did I ever give myself the influence for that?
Yes, if you didn't.
I did.
Now I will use this card, Suck Up to Seniors, which lets me ignore sticky notes for my next move. So I will pay, actually, for that, I will pay 2 cards.
So I could have done that instead of using one of my yellow tiles.
If you had it, yes.
I actually have 2 of them. I didn't really understand it, but now I do.
Yeah. So I will use the yellow card, which counts for 2, to pay for it, and pay 4 influence. That means now. Yep.
I also did not have the influence for it looking at the card. So.
Oh, okay. That's probably why you didn't do it.
Uh-huh. We'll go with that.
So that means my next 2 moves are ignoring sticky notes. Oh, I already moved once. So I will move. Which one? Yeah, I will move to the green boss. Get a green certificate. I used this blue one already. And the green certificates are usable once per turn. So this one lets me gain back any company influence or office politics card that I used to pay for an office politics card. So I will use that, and I'll just gain back that yellow card I used. This one gets discarded. Use the move. I will use my last move to move back onto this card
and get closer to the red boss.
Gain 2. Yep. So now I just draw 1 and end my turn.
Chat said they are enjoying the card illustrations. They asked not to be banned as well, so we don't ban cool cats, only people who break the rules.
Nice. Thanks for the compliments, although I didn't really do the illustrations. That's the one thing I didn't do.
You oversaw it though, right?
That's correct.
So, that's awesome. I had forgotten to draw a card, so I don't know if you witnessed me do that, but I did do that because I forgot to.
No worries.
So are you done with your turn now?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. So now that I know what I'm doing a little bit, I have this card, so it cost me 3 influence and a card. So which card? It cost me too much, so I got 2 of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm green. So I'm gonna go ahead and move there. This business, I have to ask. I'm gonna place and do a. Where am I gonna place it though? Okay, I won't place this one. I'll place this one. Maybe. Nope, that one also doesn't do it. Alright, we'll figure something out once we do this. We'll gain that influence. Do this. So I've placed and I've moved. Oh, and I forgot to grab one of these. This one, at the end of your workday, pick up 1 office politics card that you used instead of discarding it. Oh, so I can use this. Oh, sorry.
Yep, you can get back the card.
I'll take 1 of them.
And this is once per turn, so you could just keep it face
okay.
up.
Awesome.
And did you already use this one, I think?
I have not.
Okay.
And so I technically have one more of these. What does the research do again? Can you re-explain that one to me?
Yeah, no worries. So what it lets you have to use a black token, and it lets you draw 3 office politics and return 2, or discard as many office politics as you want, and then draw the same amount plus 1.
So I'm only allowed to have 3 We're only allowed to have 3 office politics cards in our hands at any given time, correct?
No, that's not true.
Okay.
If you have less than 3, you draw up to 3, but you can have as many as you want.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and research, and you said this gives me for this workday +1 workday token specifically for research. Oh, so I don't have to use this one yet.
Yeah, that's correct.
How do I zoom?
You just grab the green token.
Green. Okay. Blink. And then I grab. You said for research, I grab 3 and discard 2.
Correct. Or return 2.
2. Oh, return 2, and it shuffles them back into the deck.
It just return 2 and then it stays that way.
Okay. Oh, these 2 are the same. All right. Report to HR. That's great. Go ahead and put that back in the deck, maybe. Oh, okay, so I have to flip it to put it back in. Perfect. Okay, so I got that. And I still have a move. I technically don't have to use that, do I? Or I could just do more research, right?
Which one are you talking about?
My last token.
The black token, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to, or you could just do more research. Up to you.
I'm gonna do more research. Oh, I forgot to shuffle them. So when I return that, I have to shuffle the deck, right?
No, you don't shuffle it.
Oh, okay. They just go back on top.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn is over.
Cool. Nice. Let's see. First return my tokens. And I will like that. Alright, I'll do this. I'll pay. Here we go.
Oh, I forgot to put mine back. Maybe. There we go.
So I will restructure priorities, which lets me shift a tile that is 1 tile away into an empty tile. And I will be using the yellow card to pay for the add-on ability, which lets me shift the card that I am on instead. That costs me 1 influence and these cards. So I will be shifting the card I'm on, and I move with it. So that means this sticky note token, the yellow one, gets broken. That bridge is gone. Okay, so this card is discarded, and
It was a +2, right? 2 cards for the shift the card you're on?
yes, so the yellow card counts as 2, so that's what I...
Oh, okay. Perfect.
And as per my green certificate, I get a card that I used to pay back. And what do I do now? I'm still kind of stuck. Let me place a card. Then I will place a sticky note token. This, and I will move onto it. Like this. Okay, and that ends my turn.
I have a plan.
Nice.
All right. So for the first one, work our token to use the sticky note thing, and we're gonna Plop it right there.
Your green research, by the way, is gone.
Yes, thank you.
So this one's good.
Yeah, thank you for... I didn't even see it down below. Thank you for correcting that. I'm just gonna move. 1, 2, 3.
I don't think you have 3 moves.
Oh, because I
you have
placed.
to,
Right.
yeah.
I didn't flip this. Ignore that.
You can shuffle it.
Okay, this
And
one.
you think you gain 2 influence for this?
Yes. Perfect. See, workplace politics does not mean breaking the rules. Or does it? We'll find out in the cards. But there are still rules, clearly. Alright, so that's my turn.
Cool. Let's see. All right.
Trying to learn. There we go.
Okay, I will move. No, I'm blue. I'll move on to a red card. Okay, draw a red certificate. And all other players discard 1 office politics card at random. So I will use that. I'll let you read it.
It says for use once in your workday, so is it a one time or once every time?
Yeah, the wording is a little unclear. It's just once a game.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just going to flip that, and I'll just pick 1 at random. Go away. Okay. That's done. Next, I will play this one. Belittle the competition, which lets me swap a project card that is 1 tile away with the project card that is next to it. And any employees move with the swapped project cards. Okay, so I will be moving you.
Oh no.
With this one. So that costs me 1 influence. Bye. Tokens get broken.
So those bridges are no longer mine?
Yeah, they're not yours. If you want to have them again, you just spend the same black token to buy
okay,
one.
okay, I see.
Yeah.
So they are technically still, like I can.
Yeah, they're still in
use
the
them.
game. Yeah.
Thank you for standing me up.
I've screwed you over a little bit, but I'm still kind of screwed here.
You don't have a way out.
Okay, I'll do this with my last company influence.
Okay.
Call in a favor, which lets me select an unoccupied tile that is 1 tile away and put it into my hand or send it to the bottom of the deck. I'll be targeting this, put it into my hand. Okay, so that cost me my last influence.
So much so that you just yeeted your chip off the deck.
Yeah, yeah. I really wanted that card gone. I'll place card now here, and I'll move on to it. That's my last action. Okay, and I'm done.
Awesome. So since you're done, my first move is going to be to suck up to the seniors, removing the.
Before you can do that, I'm going to report you to HR.
Oh, that's what a report you to HR does. I was a little confused. So so this is like a trap card. You're preventing my magic from working.
Exactly. You've activated my trap card.
So
and I've reported you.
Oh no.
So you keep any costs you were going to pay. You just lose that first card.
Yeah. Well, I guess I should have kept the trap card then. Anyway. Well. I can still do this for the influence. Busted.
Yep. I don't have any more.
So I have to pay 2 cards. So can I wait? Do they have to be office politics cards?
So yeah, they do.
So I don't have any of those, so I can't do that. Wait. So, but what I can do is I can do research.
Correct.
And I can draw 3. And then discard 2.
Turned.
There. Okay. We're gonna do this, and then discard 1, 2, and we're gonna. We did the influence already, so I'm gonna swap places with you. Thank you. Then I'm gonna move to the red. I'm gonna take one of these now that I actually can. And I have all others lose 3 company influence. I don't want to use that because you don't have any influence currently. Thank you for straightening me out there. And then I get 1 more move, correct? So, boom. And that ends my turn.
You gain a company influence for that.
Thank you. See, even though we're trying to get the best performance review here, we're still honest competitors.
You gotta do it by the book, you know? All right. Okay. I need company influence badly. So I will place. Actually, hold on. Oh, never mind. Dang, I don't know what to do here.
Oh yeah, I really set you back there. I didn't realize how far I set you back. Well, actually, okay, I can see a couple moves for you. But I don't know what cards you have in your hand.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't think I could win. I think you will win next turn.
I don't think I can win. I mean, if I can win
I don't
next
know.
turn,
I don't know what you have,
that's
but
true.
it's generally good to assume you can move 3 tiles in a turn, and you are 3 tiles away. So theoretically, you could win in a turn.
Okay. I think I actually see how I could win.
All right. Oh man, this lack of influence is really hurting me. I'll pay. I'll place. I'll move. Gives me 2 influence. I will move once more here. I will use this card, work overtime, just pay 1 influence. Oh, never mind.
No overtime for you this week.
Well, thanks, I guess. All right, then that's my turn. I can't do anything else.
And even though I played that card, because it wasn't my turn, I can't draw before my turn, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Now you're down to 2. I should draw 2. Draw 1.
Most people would thank me for not making them work overtime, but, you know, I'm just kidding.
You reported me to HR for trying to work overtime. I don't know.
Oh, that's some backwards office stuff. Alrighty, so what do we have? We have to first put the tokens back. Clean up after yourself once you've left the office. That's a memo from the boss. So yeah, let's see what we have here. Okay. So we can do this.
place.
That was a place. Thank you. We're gonna move onto that tile and gain the maximum influence. Too bad I don't get superpowers for that. See, I don't know what cards you have, so I don't know if I should do that or not.
Well, just so you know, there's 10 types of cards, and there's 4 of each.
Okay.
So that means there's only 4 report to HRs.
Okay.
So you can search. You can right-click the discard pile and just search, which will let you see everything in there and count how many.
Search. Cool. Oops. I don't know what I just did. I accidentally selected a color wheel. Okay, anyway, I have one more work hour to use, and I guess I want to do some research here so I can be properly prepared for this game. Draw 3. And we're gonna 2, and we're going to.
Return to the top.
Oh, can I draw these 2?
Yeah, you can just draw it from there.
One of them was not correct.
I think that was from the discard. No?
Yeah. Okay. I put the 2 back. Oh, wait.
I got it.
There. And this one needed to go there. Okay.
Cool. Good.
Got it all set. Okay, so now put my I am good. I just need to draw one of these.
Yeah, the tabletop is good, but it's also, a little bit awkward. It's much better to play in person where everything is intuitive.
Looking at the discard pile, chat asked, is looking at the discard pile is not cheating?
Oh, no, you can always look at the discard.
There's always a paper trail of your jobs at the office. So be careful what you say in an email because it might not be private.
It'll come back to haunt you. All right. Okay. I will play this card. Spread a rumor with a yellow card, or discard a yellow. All right, never mind.
No rumors. No overtime and no rumors today.
I will research. I swear, you probably got all of the HR cards.
I think I got 2 or 3. And you got 1. I think I had 2.
So I draw 3, back 2. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, I think this is all I need. Quick back this baby. Back this guy. So I think I can win unless you have another HR.
Nope.
Let's see, I'll play Belittle the Competition, which swaps a card that is 1 tile away with a card next to it. And I will pay with a yellow card to get the add-on ability, which lets me be on the cards being swapped. So I'm going to be swapping this one with the card next to it, which I'm on, for 1 influence.
Oh.
That there, and this here.
Remarkable. Physics happened.
What's going on here?
Reverse. I'll grab.
I got it.
Your magic.
Oh, all right. Now those cards are gone. And now I will use a work hour token to sticky note the last and move on to it. Getting the promotion. Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
That was a very, very close game. Way closer than I would have liked.
That was great. I can definitely see how this game is fun. I'm gonna go ahead and switch us back to our chatting as we wrap it up here. So, thanks everyone for sticking through us with that gameplay. I thought it was fun. I definitely hope our viewers are excited to try it themselves. I can see the strategies in place, and just a friendly competition, a way to definitely unwind. So I'd like to open it up for any questions from the chat, besides how to cheat at the game, and and we have a couple questions ourselves. So what was kind of your goal when you're thinking about like why you wanted to create this game? You kind of talked about it a little bit earlier.
Right. Yeah, a little bit, but I guess it's to, it's drawing from my own experience working in a corporation, trying to kind of highlight or like maybe do a little bit of like social commentary on corporate America, how I felt personally that even if you did all the work and you put in the hours and you were very productive all the time, it wouldn't matter in terms of like climbing the corporate ladder if you were, let's say, outshined by someone else who was a much better sort of people person who did a lot of brown nosing, did a lot of sucking up to the managers, the right people. Those people might not necessarily be as productive or maybe didn't put in the same number of hours as you did, but yet they're getting the rewards, right? They're getting promoted. They're the ones getting ahead in their careers. So that's kind of, rubbed me the wrong way. Definitely was one of the large reasons why I wanted to quit. And that's where, the inspiration came for this game. I think I mentioned it a little bit during the gameplay. It doesn't matter who is doing the path building in the game, who is laying the tiles. At the end of the day, it's whoever is using the office politics to their best ability is usually the one who wins the game.
Yeah. No, that's definitely interesting, and I think a worthy conversation on not just office politics, but how we relate to games, because a lot of times people say, oh, I don't care about the story behind the game, but I don't know how many people realize that even Monopoly was created to have a social conversation about a serious topic. And so I think games give us a better space to kind of have a similar perspective of what that can be, because it's great for the person who got the promotion, but maybe they didn't realize all of the sabotage that they left, the mess that they left behind from the sabotaging that they did with reporting to someone to HR or this or that, right? And so those are definitely worthy conversations. And at the end of the day, it is a game, and so it's one thing we talked about in one of the other shows was that like this is a games are kind of a sandbox for us to share experiences and conversations, right? So this is definitely, I love this idea in that it's creating a space for conversations as well. Again, just some chuckles, because you can laugh about, oh, I remember that one time, someone messed something else up at the office, no matter whether it is your coworkers that you work with currently or someone new sharing just a funny story. One question we had from the chat was there an inspiration behind the name of the game, Welcome to Sysifus Corp? So maybe Sysifus Corp specifically?
Yeah. So Sisyphus is a misspelling of the Greek myth Sisyphus. Or it's pronounced the same, but it's spelled a little different.
Okay.
You might not be familiar with the name. Not many people seem to recognize the name, but you might be familiar with the story. It's the guy who was punished to roll a boulder forever up a cliff. You know about that? So it's some guy, he was in part of Greek mythology. He was punished by some Greek god to constantly shove or push a boulder up a cliff, only to reach the top and then have it fall and start all over again. So I thought that was a very apt way of summarizing how I felt about the rat race, about climbing the corporate ladder. You get to the next step and it starts all over again. There's the next promotion, there's another ladder step to climb. You're just always looking for more money, more this, more that.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's where the name came from.
No, that's great, and I love it for multiple reasons, because you're making a reference, which games again often do in many regards. All of our games have had some reference or some theme, and yours kind of brings two very different things. Greek mythology, very ancient, with office politics. I guess office politics are historic because it's a social phenomenon that's probably occurred since forever. But yeah, that's very interesting. And it shows the attention to detail that you've kind of put into this project, which I think is great.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I guess one final question I have, I'm curious about, with us talking about the details of the game. What was kind of your process behind developing it? So you had the idea, you wanted to make a game based on your experiences. So maybe you started with an idea, or what motivated you, and what steps did you take to kind of achieve building this?
So in the beginning, I only had a loose idea of the theme. Like, I only knew that I wanted to create a modern type of theme where it wasn't like fantasy or sci-fi. No trolls, no orcs, no magic. That's the only thing I had in mind. At first, the game theme was kind of like a revamped version of the Game of Life, where it's kind of outdated now. I guess millennials or Generation Z, like, our aspirations and goals aren't necessarily the same as the people who made the Game of Life. Like, we don't all own houses, we don't all own cars, have a blue collar jobs that pay for everything. The environment is a little different. So that's what I set out as the theme. In terms of the game mechanics, what I did was I just thought up a bunch of different board games and other video games that I've enjoyed, and just kind of threw it together as many mechanics as possible into this weird Frankenstein of a game. And then, just play tested the crap out of it. And, at first it was really, really not fun. Like, even me, like, I don't want to play this game. It was so terrible. And I've play tested this game with probably close to 200 different people by now. And every time, I'm always learning something new, always reiterating and slowly, just chipping away at it until it's, closer and closer to the final finished product, which I think is pretty close now. So yeah, that's been my methodology.
No, I think it's great. And I like your, again, you're clearly, again, paying attention to details, and your method seems to be the put the nose to the grindstone, like, test it out, make it work. And so, that's obviously very important, whether it's, no matter what it is you do, is you have to make sure something works, right? And so you've got to test it, whether it's your game or even work. I know, talking with some of my colleagues from past jobs and such, sometimes we wonder, is this the right job for me? And it's like, you'll never know if it's the right job, or if it's the right game for you, or if it's the right this or that, if you don't, try it. So I think that's a really, a broad lesson that we just learned from a game, right? So it's great. There's definitely a lot more we could learn from you, and I was definitely excited to have you on tonight. So
thanks for having me. Yeah,
absolutely. Before I ask for any last comments, I just wanted to thank you for being here, and remind everyone that we will be contributing once this project starts up on Kickstarter on February 1st, I believe.
Yep.
Once it starts up on February 1st, we'll be contributing $10 to the project, and the link will remain on our YouTube video when we put this video up on there, and we will have it linked on our website, so you can be sure to find that. Thanks again, Wonmin, for your time. Are there any other closing thoughts you wanted to say before we sign off?
No, thank you so much for having me. I'd just like to urge you, or any listeners, any viewers in the chat, if they want, sign up on the Kickstarter to be reminded when we launch, so you can be one of the first to be notified.
Absolutely. So head to that link tonight via our website, so powerupsouthbend.com/activities, link below in the panels. Head there to the website to follow the campaign and get notifications. Follow them on social media, help them spread their reach. And thanks everyone for tuning in again tonight. We'll see you on Sunday at 11 a.m. for Gato Lodge presenting Sunset Blade. Everyone stay safe and have a great weekend.
Bye-bye. Thank you.